2015, my really good friend moved to South Africa. He's an artist. His wife teaches English, so she's an international teacher, something I aspire to do. I wanted to go visit them in South Africa, but I looked online and the prices were over $1,500. Next. I was like, what kind of stuff do I have to do to find a cheaper flight? What kind of equation do I need to make to find out a cheaper flight? And obviously I'm not good at equations, so this stuff popped up, and I just doodled a bunch of stuff. Next. I'm just a broke bartender, okay? How do I figure this stuff out? I don't know what to do, and that's a picture of me thinking. I obviously was tanning that day. Next. Then I figured out this thing called the internet. As an old head, the internet is like one of the greatest things ever. I went on and I did a little bit of research about how to find a cheaper flight. 2 factors that involve a cheap flight: time of year and the location. Time of year. One thing that I found out is that from January to April, prices are super cheap to fly, mainly because there's no holidays, so airline companies can't gouge you for prices. They're not in high demand. Also, I found out September to October, also cheap flights. Reason why? Kids are going back to college. They don't have time to book flights or anything like that. So again, not a high demand. These flights, again, are cheap because parents and family, they have to work. There's no holidays, and also kids are in school. Also, the other thing I found out is location. The bigger the airport equals the more airlines. The more airlines equal price competition, or they call it a price fare war. Also with airport location, I found out that the closer the location to your destination, the cheaper the flights. Like if you're going to Europe, I suggest going to JFK or Newark because we're very close to those. You can take a train ride. Asia, I found out Newark is amazing to go to Asia. South America, I found out that Philadelphia is really great to fly out of, like if you want to go to Colombia or Cancun or something like that.
Wait.
Where to look for cheap flights? Now this is like the tough part, and most of the stuff I figured out was on Google Flights. First of all, it's free. You can just play around on there. You don't have to book anything. They're really good with trying to work out the best prices for you. Another thing, if you don't have time to look for stuff, I have 2 pay sites. You don't necessarily have to pay for them, but if you do, you're going to get advance notice to price fare drops, even mistakes that frequently happen in the airline industry. I know when you hear airline industry mistakes, it's not a good thing, but for cheap flights, yes, this is a great thing. 2 sites in particular: Scotch Cheap Flights, one thing I go to, and Pomelo Travel is another site. They'll send you daily emails. I'm talking daily emails with cheap flights all over the world. All you got to do is put in your regional airport, and they will send you emails almost on the reg. The other place I go to, this is my bread and butter for when I go to Asia, is Air China. Their flights are super cheap. Also, they only fly out of Newark, and Google Flights do not carry them anymore. So when you go on Google Flights, you will not necessarily find a cheap flight to China because Air China is not on there. This is just an example of something that I found out of Newark, or out of, this is out of Newark. This is particularly South America. I just found some really cheap flights. I'm actually going to be going to Colombia in May. I found that flight to Bogota, $304 round trip out of Newark, which is an amazing flight. Also, that flight to Lima, Peru is amazing, just in case you want to hike Machu Picchu. Highly suggest that flight. Even if you want to go to Chile, which you can have to sip some wine, even that Chile flight is a really great flight. Sometimes those flights run up to $900 to $1,000 round trip. This is just an example of my email account, okay? This is all Scott's Cheap Flights. Every single day, they send me 2 times a day, and they also put like all this stuff here. They tell you where it is. They say that these fares only last a day or 2. But in fact, on Thursday, I am going to Shanghai. This is Pomelo Travel. Again, they give you all these fares. I do not pay for any of this. So yeah, every single day. Mistake fares for Christmas for this year. If you want to go somewhere on Christmas, it's really rare to find a mistake fare during Christmas. This is Air China, flying out of Newark, $399 round trip.
Wow.
Let's get it. Next. Things you need to know before you book a flight. Things that I always, and I tell my friends to do if you're traveling with a friend. Be flexible. Don't be dead set on one specific location. Be in, like, geographically. If you want to go, like, if you say, oh, I need to go to, like, Bangkok or something like that, don't think like that. They might not have a flight to Bangkok, but they will have something really cheap to Singapore. They might have something really cheap to Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, you can get a cheap flight to Bangkok. So try and find something regionally, but, you know, always be flexible. Another thing is, have a fixed budget. I always say between $400 and $700, just in case. You might need to take 2 flights from one place to another. Usually a second flight in another country is super cheap, might run you like 50 or 100 bucks. I always say, have a fixed budget. Third thing, be ready to roll, like moment's notice. You might get an email that says these flights might only last an hour. So have your friend, you, if it's only you, fine, be ready to book it. Some examples of flights that I found. 300, 500 to South America out of Newark, or out of Philadelphia. I found Argentina flights and flights all the way to almost Antarctica for around $700 to $900. Out of Newark, I've personally taken this flight to South Africa. It ran me $900. Out of Newark, 300 to 600 to Europe. Out of Newark again, 300 to 600 to Asia and to India and South. I guess it would be more like Southern Asia. I found flights $500 to $700 round trip. So again, I actually did find a cheap flight to South Africa. It was about $900 round trip. This is proof. This is Cape Town. Cape Town again, no hair.